Welcome to this episode of Let's Talk 716 Sports Podcast. Today, my co host at JDon'tFade Jason and I will be talking about the Buffalo Bills versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. How do you think the Bills offense will do against um the
Steelers,
Buffalo?
right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I get you. I'm a little off myself as well, Robbie. I had to get a COVID test yesterday. Now I think I'm probably fine. I mean, I'm almost certain I'm fine. I had some sick days at work that I ended up using, and they ran in the same time that some of my coworkers had to get tested. They came back negative as well, so sure I'm fine. I don't really usually get sick. Maybe I just had a cold. I don't know. We'll see. Been outside a lot lately, but yeah, not a pleasant experience. Not want to get a COVID test sticking in your nose. It's not fun. Either way, though. So, what do I think about the Bills' offense versus the Steelers' defense? Well, I think that we got a very good showing of what this offense can look like when it's functioning at its top gear, essentially, right? If it's firing on all cylinders, all 8 cylinders, 6 cylinders, what they look like against San Fran last week. Now, Josh was completing a lot of passes. We got the ground game going just a tad bit. I would like to see more, obviously, but with Josh putting up, nearly 400 yards almost, I'm happy with that. I like seeing, all of our wide receivers getting involved, all of our guys getting involved. Dawson Knox with another touchdown. I didn't like the early attempts to Lee Smith, but do what you got to do. I figure on the reason that he was active and Tyler Kroft was not, obviously barring any injury we don't know about, was probably just due to them wanting to have a run blocker. Probably wanted to get he had that extra blocker on the end against that stout, tough 49ers defense, especially their front four. Their front seven is pretty dominant. They got some really good linebackers there. Quine Alexander and one of the better young linebackers in this league, younger linebackers, I guess. Not an old man, but Fred Warner. Some regard him as one of the best, if not the best linebacker in the game. So I think taking a look at something like that, I think they got going pretty well. I'd like to see the same thing. I'd expect, nearly the same thing. I know the Steelers probably have a little bit tougher of a defense. They do have some injuries, though, that can't be overlooked. You've got Bud Dupree. He'll be out with a torn ACL. I believe it's an ACL at least. Me being Achilles, not sure. But he's out with torn body part regardless. So he'll be out. No worry of him. He's one of their better edge rushers. They still do have TJ Watt. They got Cam Hayward. Those guys on the front four there are pretty stout. They're pretty good coming in. They've got Tremaine Edmonds' brother playing safety for them. They've, of course, got the athletic, talented Minkah Fitzpatrick that they stole from freaking the Dolphins in that trade. Maybe the Dolphins look at it differently. They got some good picks this year, but this isn't about the Dolphins either way. So taking a look at that, they've got Joe Hayden that'll probably be out. So you got Joe Hayden, Bud Dupree, both will be out. I want to see them take advantage of that. I want to see Josh try and take his time in the pocket. I need to see this defensive or offensive line earn their money this week, earn their lunch, and go ahead and give Josh some time to block, give the opportunity to be able to maybe get something going in the run game though. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I would expect to have Josh have a decent amount of points and yards and attempts again this week. Josh now is that guy that he's going to be able to, or at least be expected to put the team on his shoulders. So look for them to go to him to pass. I don't think it's going to be so much anymore. We're going to do a lot of running this week, a lot of passing. I think you'll still have a variance of that. You'll still have a playbook that mirrors what your opponent maybe their weaknesses are rather than their strengths. But I think Josh is not the guy, and with the contract that he's going to probably get after this year, maybe next year at the latest, they're going to expect him to be that guy that can be that Big Ben, with the Steelers, that can be that maybe not so much Tom Brady, but that Mahomes guys that lead their franchise and they win games in opposition of any weaknesses they have that game on their personal side of the field. So I expect to see the offense do fairly well against this defense. No worse than last year. I expect them to score probably somewhere upper 20s, low 30s in points. I don't expect a shootout, but I don't expect a blowout either. I didn't expect a blowout last week against San Fran either. And I don't think this opponent is as easy as San Fran. They were an 11-0 team. They're 11-1 now. They've shown they're beatable almost all year, and the luck just didn't fall on their side of the coin this last week. So I don't know. I expect to see a good showing from the offense from Josh. Been very accurate this year compared to previous years for him, even compared to other quarterbacks this year. He's top 10 passer this year, right? I expect to see a lot of attempts, a lot of yards. I expect them to try and get the ground game going after they establish the pass, which is what seems to be what they've done almost all year. So, especially on first down. So, yeah, Robbie, what do you think about the Bills' offense versus their defense?
I think they might try to I think they might try to run on them, or maybe mix run and pass this week against their defense. And I think Josh Allen might get over his 300 or maybe close to 400 yards, maybe.
It'd be a pretty good showing against a stout Pittsburgh defense. But, you could be right there with having Joe Hayden out. That's big. They're going to have Steven Nelson there, a guy who I never thought really was able to leap on the way they wanted in Kansas City. But he's done fairly well. He's graded at least high with PFF, whatever you take, how much consideration you put into PFF's rankings. But he's been rated pretty high with PFF the last couple of years. He's having a great year this year. Him, Minka, obviously you're forgetting about Hilton too. Hilton in the slot, probably one of the better slot cornerbacks in the league. I don't know if he's the best, but he's one of the better slot cornerbacks in the league. He'll be going up against Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley will probably have a fairly tough test this week. We'll see what he does. It seems like the way that his speed is built, though, that he's a guy that just wins, right? He's like Lamar Jackson. And I know that's a big comparison, but he's similar, if you can grapple with me here. He's similar to Lamar Jackson in the way he runs his routes, how quick and fast he is. You're not going to beat a man-to-man every single time. You're going to have to, you're going to force Allen to throw in tight pockets, but there is a way to get that ball to Cole Beasley on every single play. It may just be at different times. It may not be at the very beginning of the play. Maybe more towards the middle of the play, or more the middle of the route, or maybe at the beginning of the route, or maybe late in the route. But there is a time you can always get a receiver a ball, regardless of the coverage. And that's what we need to see Josh and Cole be able to connect on. So I expect a lot of targets out of Stephon Diggs this week, right? You have Steven Nelson on him. Maybe they'll double cover him, but then you leave Gabe Davis open. That's a good thing with having solid players at wide receiver and having solid depth. There's always someone you can trust and go to the ball with. It's not the same as it was 3 years ago when you had Kelvin Benjamin, who you already didn't trust as a first wide receiver, let alone even being on your, you didn't trust him as a third wide receiver, let alone being a first wide receiver on your team. So you got him, and then you got Andre Roberts. So I thought for, what we asked him to do, he probably did better than most expected, but that was not a wide receiver, a talented wide receiver room, to speak kindly. But this is, right? So we need to see the difference there. We need to see what's going to happen. We need to see where this is going to go. But I think that we could put some points up, and it's definitely there, Robbie. So I agree with you on that. To dive in just real quickly on the Bills defense versus the Pittsburgh offense, one thing I need to see this week, I need to see man coverage, and a lot of it, right? And the reason for that being that Big Ben, I think this year, I could be wrong, and I don't want to misquote it, but from my impression, what I've heard and what I've just watching almost the last 3 Pittsburgh Steelers games in full live, Ben gets that ball out quick, man. He does. That's his goal this year, is getting the ball out quick. They're not using the run game so much. Obviously, James Conner's been banged up here and there. He's having an okay year, but it's a team they're not rushing very well. I believe they're just under 4 yards a carry. It's either 3.6 or 3.7 yards a carry by the running backs. So that's obviously not one of the better running games, but they are doing well passing. And they're sneaking out of games with the W's, right? Except for that last one. So let's see if we can hand them their second L here. But they did get the ball out quick. You got a guy like Trey White. Trey White is going to lock down whoever he is on for that first 2 seconds. That 2.3, 2.4, whatever that amount of seconds is that Big Ben wants to get that ball out. Trey White I have full confidence he can lock down any wide receiver in the NFL for that amount of time. So you're going to have him there, right? Then you got Levi Wallace, or who are you going to put him on, though? Because Juju's got some speed. Deontay Johnson's got some speed. James Washington, he's a burner. He's got speed. So you've got these, not even just shorter guys, but just faster guys, right? You need to make sure we can keep up with them. Levi Wallace there. There's no Cam Lewis back yet, but we do have Taron Johnson in the slot. I don't know what they're going to do with him. You're not going to be able to blitz as much. You're going to have to. No, that's wrong. I misspoke there. You'll be able to blitz more often, I think, with the man coverage. But how do you want to deal with the man coverage? You want to have man coverage where you have a partial man, partial zone. You're going to have the safeties kind of roaming, and then just have every cornerback or every defensive back locked on somebody, and then have maybe the linebackers assigned to a running back, or just blitz the linebackers, and blitz the whole 7, and then keep the 4 in the field or 4 or 5 in the field, blitz 6. I don't know. We're going to see what happens here. I trust Leslie Frazier, and I especially trust Coach McDermott to be able to scheme something up here to limit them, or at least figure them out to the point where if we put up 30 points, we're walking out with a W. It's at home. That obviously helps, right? We've got some momentum. Josh had probably the best game of his career last week. Some would debate and say that might have been the Seattle game or any number of the Miami games he's crushed them in, but I'd say last week was pretty impressive, and being that it's on a national stage, it was even that much more important. So look to get pressure to Ben. You want to get pressure to him, but you want to lock down your man. So individual battles are huge this week, just like every week, but more this week than others because of how quick Big Ben gets the ball out. Robbie, what do you think about the Bills defense versus Steelers offense?
Just keep Ben in the pocket and not let him get out and try to throw the ball.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Because he's dangerous that way. Just like Josh Allen is when he gets out of the pocket and he's able to throw it.
Right. Yeah, escapability, that ability to extend the play that makes quarterbacks so valuable nowadays. Right, for sure. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Now we're going to get to our portion here, second last portion of the podcast here, the pregame. Robbie, what are your 3 keys to victory this week?
The defense, keep Ben in the pocket. Don't let him escape, or extend any plays.
Mm-hmm.
Gang tackle the running back.
Stealing one of mine, huh?
And then my third would be don't let what's his name? Juju Smith Schuster get if they're gonna throw a deep ball, knock it down instead of trying to intercept it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with most of your points there, Robbie. For my keys, so they're fairly quick because they just really are very concise and to the point. And I'm starting to notice that they're trending, right? I keep using the same ones, but it's because they're just the basic essentials to win a football game or to have a good team effort and a good football game. So my first one is going to be do your 111th, like Sean McDermott says. Do your 111th, win your individual battle, right? So that means cornerbacks, right? That's more what I'm talking about is your cornerbacks. So I'm talking about your offensive linemen. Those are the 2 places where I think this game is won and lost this week on Sunday night here from Buffalo. So we need to be able to contain guys like TJ Watt, who it looks like he's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. The kid's a monster. He may be better than his brother. He may turn out to be better than his brother. And I'll be honest, I didn't think he was, right? I thought a lot of it was name notoriety. Not that he wasn't a good prospect coming out of college, but just that a lot of it was name notoriety that got him where he was or the attention that he got. But he's actually a solid damn football player. So do your 111th. Win your battles in the offensive line. Give Josh time. Create holes for running backs to run through. And as cornerbacks and defensive backs, lock down those wide receivers, lock down those routes, and bring pressure to Ben. My second is going to be get the ground game going. I think getting the ground game going is going to open up a lot. They already have obviously a big piece missing in Joe Hayden, most likely not playing this week. he's a big piece that's missing from their secondary. But they do have a solid CB2 and Steve Nelson, and a solid slot corner, slot back at and Mr. Hilton. So it's Mike Hilton, I believe. And then Min Fitzpatrick, obviously roaming around. He's like having their own little Jordan Poyer, one of the best safeties in the league. So taking a look at that, I think we need to get the ground game going. I'd like to see them be able to create holes when you're on 11th, like I said in the first point, and create holes for the running backs to be able to get through, so we can open things up in the passing game, be able to spread it out, be able to break the field down, and be able to take the top off. So that is my second key. My third key, I'm gonna use one like you used from last week, Robbie. Put more points up than them. And what I mean by that, more to be more clear, is don't stop putting points up. I see this game going this way: 21-7.5 by the Bills, and then that third quarter comes around. The Bills put up 3 points. Pittsburgh only scored 10 points. We still put up 3. Oh, okay. Now it's 24-17. You know what I mean? Or no, what would that be? Yeah, 24-17. Okay, now we're going to the final lap. Okay, we put up another 3, right? So now it's 27-17. Oh, they put up a touchdown. Now they're down by a field goal. You know what I mean? So you've got to look at things like that. I want us to keep going, keep playing aggressively. They did it last week. I loved watching it last week. It was like everything I've been asking for. They're going for it on fourth downs. They're taking chances. They're trusting their players. The coaches are trusting the players. The players are trusting the coaches, calling the right plays. It was great. It's what an organization that wins the Super Bowl looks like, If you watch Kansas City, they do a lot of that. A lot of the game they put in Pat Mahomes' hands and say, here, Pat, do what you got to do. Here's an awesome play you can run. Run this play. If you don't like it, audible out of it. Do something else. I trust you. So I want to see that between Josh and Coach McDermott and Coach Dable. I want to see some of those magical plays. I want to see some of those trick plays that Dable loves to break out to flex on the opponents. So, yeah, that's my third key to the game. Put up more points and don't stop putting up points. So my prediction for the game, Robbie, I've got a little bit of a more high-scoring one of the Bills part here. I've got them scoring 31 points, and I've got Pittsburgh scoring 20 points. So 31-20, it's not going to look like a blowout, but it's going to be similar to last week where it was not really close. It was close up until maybe the last quarter, right, where it's like, okay, anybody could win. The Bills are going to be leading, but anybody could win till the end of the third, and then it looks like the Bills are going to win. They're going to pull it out. It's going to be a big win. It's going to be a game behind Pittsburgh. Miami's going to lose. We're going to be, 3 games up on them? I believe one more thing needs to happen for us to clinch. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it already happened actually with forgetting it, with New England losing. But I'll have to recheck those situations. I'm sure we'll see a million more articles come out between now and then about what the clinching scenarios are. All we can do is win the game in front of us, though. I think we're still going for the second seed, maybe even the first seed. We'll see if Kansas City drops 1 or drops 2 they're not supposed to. I don't know. They probably have to start this week. Look at the rest of their schedule. They have the Saints, Dolphins, a couple other teams on there that are kind of cakewalk. So we'll have to see what happens. But, yeah, that's my prediction. What's your prediction, Robbie, before we end the show?
I have a prediction from Joe Miller also. But with my prediction, I predict that the Bills will win 28-21.
Close. Well, I like it. Let's go.
And my friend Joe Miller from the Overreaction Sports podcast, he said 32-28 in favor of the Bills.
So a close one. I wonder how he's got there. I wonder if he's got it similar to that Rams game earlier in the year. We were kind of up for a while. Could be a completely different script, but up for a while. And then they came back, made it close, and we won that last second play by Josh. So either way, both all good predictions. Like I said, my score 31-20, your score 28-21, Joe's 32-28, all within 10 points of victory. So I think we're all predicting a fairly close game here for a while.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down maybe to like a last-second touchdown or a last-second field goal. But hopefully it doesn't come down to that.
Let's hope so. Well, for Let's Talk 716 Sports, my name's Jason Malloy at J Don't Fade. Follow me on Twitter. That is at Robbie Bowler, of course. Give him a follow, give me a follow, and we will see you next week. Go Bills.